All
I'm just
right.
teasing.
So if you haven't met Herb Smith yet, he became our district governor last Saturday, and super good guy. Looking forward to him coming and visiting our club. I believe it's going to be in September. And Herb is out of our Hagerstown.
Sunrise Club.
Is it Sunrise?
It is, yeah.
Okay, yeah. And just a really good guy and super active. I mean, he's running around to every club, and he helped out at Chicken and Stuff, those that were there.
Oh, that's right. He was handing out the rolls.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's gonna, I think, be a great asset to us in our club. Just a little bit about our club leadership. Jordan, he is our president-elect, and super excited to have him. He's gonna probably be up here when I'm not here. Already got a couple dates I gotta hit him with.
Happy to do it.
Nah,
Look
He
forward to
doesn't
it.
take vacation, so it won't be a
That's
problem.
right, he's doing his job.
That's what he
Yeah,
said.
that's right. Very good. So yeah, happy for Jordan, and then Teresa and Bob. They're going to be staying on. Honestly, I wouldn't have accepted this position without those two, without a doubt. And then our past president, Stephanie, who's already been a help for me, kind of getting me off the ground a little bit here, kind of showing me the ropes, the storage area, where the stuff's at. So really appreciate that. And I think I got the board members mostly right, except I'm missing Heather. Yeah, so there's gonna be a little bit of a tweak there. Marcus is kind of our newest member to the board. Thanks for stepping up. And again, as any Rotarian is welcome to join board meetings, and they are the third Wednesday of the month. And we're gonna keep, as of right now, we're gonna still go to the library downstairs. It seems to be working out really well. Oil-free library is where we have those meetings. So, service above self, and this year, Rotary International is themed as the great hope in the world. These are some of the club projects that we've been talking about at the board. Hopefully we could get these kind of launched. There's definitely going to be more of them. The Flags for Heroes is one that we're hoping to do for Veterans Day. A lot of Rotary clubs do that. You get people to donate money for a flag for somebody, and we're still very new at developing this, but we're hoping to be able to do that. Heather Kohler had mentioned that she would be interested in chairing that. She will definitely need help. More to come on that as that committee develops. Chambersburg Area School District, new teacher support. I didn't know what to even call it, but this is most likely going to be what replaces the dictionary project. The school district actually approached us as a club and said, hey, you know, the dictionary thing's really great, but we have a greater need. And kids don't really use dictionaries anymore. And I think from a financial end, what does that cost the club? I mean, it was
Just under 3,000.
yeah.
Just under 3,000.
So I mean, it's a chunk of money, and so their greater need is really new teachers setting up their classrooms. There's very little money allocated to new teachers in setting up their classrooms, and if the teacher they're replacing didn't leave them much, it's generally a lot of that is out of pocket for new teachers. So we're hoping that we can work with the district, allocate those funds that would traditionally go into dictionaries to support the new teachers. Pancakes for Polio, that's an oldie that we're gonna hopefully resurrect this year. We used to do that over at St. Paul's Church. But I think we may, Laura and I are gonna kind of maybe wrap our heads around that a little bit, and maybe that's gonna happen here at the Elks too. More to come on that, but certainly something we're interested in starting to do again. And February is a pretty good time, not much going on. And I think we could put a little different twist on it if we had it here at the Elks. Chicken and stuff, can't forget chicken and stuff, right Bonnie?
Right.
Yep. We had a great event this year. I think we can build more on that in the coming year.
Start soon.
Start sooner, right?
Yes.
Start sooner. We're gonna start in a couple weeks having our recap meeting, collect those notes, and yes, very much looking forward to starting that much sooner. I think in doing that, we'll be able to increase those numbers nicely. The Arbor Day tree planting, I'm pretty sure we'll plant some trees again this next spring. Craig's working on a potential grant from the district to do that. I don't know that we'll be doing 50 trees this year. We'll scale that back a little bit, which is okay. But I'm hoping that we can keep planting trees in the community here as something we do every year.
I would just, can I have a minute? The district grant, the way the district grant works is, we are eligible to receive 25% of the money that the club donated to Rotary International 3 years ago. So money that we donate this year will help the president or the club in 3 years. So 25%, we had donated, I guess, $2,400. Does that make sense? I think we qualify for $800.
800.
Yeah, while I'm talking, my brain can't do 8 times 4.
I thought it was half, but you would certainly know better than I.
Yeah, it's a quarter, yeah.
Okay.
I think half comes back to the district and then a quarter goes to the club, or so. I'm not quite sure how that works, but yeah, so we, Stephanie and I are both taking the grant writing seminar. They had
Did
the
it this
seminar you
morning.
have to take. But anyway, all that to say, please make contributions to Rotary International. We have not pushed that very hard, like through COVID, there's so many other priorities. But if you could, their goal is $100 every year from every Rotarian. Every Rotarian every year. You might see ER, EY on things, but every Rotarian every year, they'd like to receive $100 to the annual fund at Rotary International. And then we qualify to get some of that back for a club project.
And that's as easy as just $25 a quarter.
Right?
Right
You can do it
on
with
your
dues.
statement to pay that. And that also counts towards your Paul Harris bill.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So,
If you do that online, will you know that it went in? If we
You'll
did
get
it-
an email.
Yeah, because I think you'll log in as you as the member, right, and they know what club you're in, so
Okay.
when you make your contribution, and Rotary International cannot make it easier to donate money to them.
Yeah.
You can just go to rotary.org and donate, it's prominent.
yeah, so I mean, that's a neat way of raising some money to plant some trees. So those are just a couple things that bounced into my mind when I was kind of putting this together that we certainly want to maintain. Just some of the club committees from the different things that we do put on, and there's probably some more. Some of this may not be fully correct, but chicken and stuff, hoping Bonnie's gonna stay on with that. You know, and as the committee chair, I mean, that doesn't mean you have to run the whole thing either. Each of these chair people are gonna need a committee to help with that, which is how things get done. Digital director, that's kind of a new position that Stephanie and I kind of talked about. The digital director, really that was bringing together, help me out. It was bringing together,
It was kind of over everyone. So pretty much if you have an event, things of that nature,
right,
send it to me. and I will create things for posters, for social media, for all of those things.
Kind of posting
And
things on
posting
social
things,
media, maybe
recording.
advertising, recording. Kind of, I don't know what that is, you know, digital director, so we're kind of still working that out. But, yeah.
Yeah,
Photography falls under that?
photography could fall under that.
Okay. And then, public relations. I know Carolyn had expressed interest in that, but she also asked me, like, what do you want me to do with it? I don't know. Get the word out.
Yeah.
That's right.
Submit things to the district newsletter.
Okay.
Oh, that would be.
That's
the
a good one.
photos.
Submit things to the community
Yep.
wherever you can.
And you may
I
need
know,
to
I
work
was-
with Stephanie on that too, because those two would seem to overlap a little bit.
Blend together.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was recently asked if Rotary had a public newsletter that goes out with our upcoming events and things like that, that the public could get signed up for an electronic newsletter and
Why couldn't
maybe
they
join
just put
us.
that on social media?
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
not instead of having another newsletter.
No, I think it could easily social media.
And
Uh,
the club website
Mhm.
Right.
too.
Right. So one of the things I haven't done yet, and I'm hoping we can do it at the next board meeting, is I'd like to put a calendar for the whole year. And
Upcoming
put,
events.
and yeah, put like, the Flags for Heroes on, Veterans Day. The pancakes for polio, you know, get a date in February. You know, chicken and stuff, get a date in April, May, whenever we're doing it. Lay that calendar out so that, we could put it on our,
Mhm.
on our website or, social media, so it's
Exactly.
there. So that anybody from the community's like, when does Rotary do the chicken stuff? They could find out in October if they wanted. Plus the club would know, and it would help me, and I think it would help the board and maybe the committee chairs know what's coming up.
Yeah.
Planning.
Yeah.
Yep, cause I live by a calendar at work. I mean, that's how my life operates. I need a calendar.
I hope this is an oversight, but maybe you know something from international that I don't, and the student exchange is not up there. Obviously, COVID literally killed the student exchange
Yeah.
program,
Yep.
due to COVID-19. And while I've been active with it for the last 2 to 3 years, it is just having a difficult time coming back. But I haven't
Right.
heard that they have in any way canceled it. So have you heard anything from the district and or Rotary International?
I have not heard anything of it being canceled. I didn't put it up there, Clint, only because there just hadn't been any interest in the last few years here from the club standpoint. I don't know, if there is interest and that's something we wanna do, I think it's worth looking into. It's just there hadn't been any interest.
I mean, we had like 6 to 8 years of increased momentum.
Right?
I mean, we've been the most active club in the entire district.
Uh-huh.
And I have all of this on a spreadsheet and so forth to share with you sometime, but all of a sudden, you know, just got nailed with COVID.
Right.
And, so I mean, I'm happy to continue to chair that.
Okay.
And the interest from the club has always, I felt like it was always there. But anyway, that's kind of.
Yeah, I don't know if any other, clubs within the district are active with it or not. I really don't. Maybe Herb would be the guy to.
Well, obviously, the timing is very appropriate because, these applications are due this fall for next summer and the next school year, not the coming school year. So I mean, that's when I'm making presentations to the Interact Club, to our Interact Club, and then and lots of others as well. So, maybe you could bring up to the board or something just to
Okay.
make
Yeah,
sure
yeah.
that they would concur with that. But I'd be happy, and you know, Wendy and I have worked together on this thing for a couple or 3 decades. It seems
Yeah.
a long time, with wonderful experiences to be shared and that sort of thing.
Sure thing. Yep.
Maybe you ought to find out if there's interest within the club, because that was the next thing, finding the homes.
Yeah, and I guess that's what we had discussed this past year on the board, as we were reviewing the different committees. And is there interest within the club to be a host family? Because that's what it takes. You know, without the club having host families, can't do it. Yeah.
But the host families don't have to exclusively come from the club. It's great to have one or more, and the club has always been, Wendy can speak more to this than I, but the club has always been very active at taking the student at various social events in the community and to DC occasionally and that sort of thing. So I mean, they step up to get to know the student and this sort of thing, which is great. Yeah.
One of the things though, Lynn, is that was also when our club had close to 100 members back when, you know, and it was, we had various people that were doing that. Now that
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
bit smaller, it might be a little bit harder to be that active with a student, you know.
Well, I would just ask the membership, if you're interested or you know somebody that, hey, is really interested in hosting a family, let someone on the board know, because that would be, cause I'd almost like to do it that way than the other way. You know, like, hey, yes, we're looking to host, and I think then with all your experience doing it.
Well, let me just add one more thing too. I spoke of the timing, and of course, so if I'm able to recruit a Cassius or Shalom, and you know, all of these students to go about to fill in the applications and that sort of thing, and the application process is, I mean, it's almost if they're in the upper 1/4 of the class and that sort of thing, there's like 100% chance they will be accepted kind of situation. The problem is, once we send a student, then we're obligated to take a student. So I don't want to suck you into something and say, wait a minute, I didn't know I had to take one.
Yeah, I think that's why we got to kind of get a pulse,
Yeah,
like, hey,
yeah.
we could at least get a commitment on us 3 months or something of an inbound before we put the cart out there. Yep. So Rotary Excel, or skipped environmental, that's planting trees. If anybody wants to do a park cleanup, rail trail cleanup would be a good one. Happy to help lead that 100%. The Excel Award, Clint did a great job of pulling a team together this year. Kind of last minute, maybe we get that on the calendar a little sooner, but we had some really good candidates for that spot. Interact Club, Jackie's done a great job with that, and she's going to continue on with that. Membership, Danielle came back and said, yes, I want membership, and happy to have her in the membership role. Polio Plus with the pancakes, hopefully Laura will make that happen. Student of the Month, Sam Bigeman, going to bring that. Should be pretty easy. She did it before she was a Rotarian. I don't see why that would be a stumbling block there. Programs, Linda said that she's happy to continue on with the programs. Her and I did talk. She said, look, let the club know if they have somebody they want to suggest for a speaker, please do it. She's the person to do it. We were passing that card around. I don't know if everybody saw that. You know, it's a great presentation, and you know, more stuff like that we can do, the better. You know, it just attracts more people to come to meetings, and that's what we want. And I think we twisted Jordan's arm a little bit. Maybe he said yes, maybe he did, but I know we talked about it, so I put Jordan up there for Football Mania. This is one years ago we used to do, and it was so easy to run it. It was a piece of cake, and we raised a lot of money doing that. So hopefully we'll get on board with that. Football season's coming up real soon. Chambersburg Rotary Foundation. I'm going to ask Craig to speak a little bit about that. Maybe some of the newer members don't even know what that's about.
Yes, sure. So our club has its own charitable foundation. I think that's not typical of Rotary clubs. We are one of the few that have our own foundation. It was started in the 1970s. our foundation provides grants to the community. So we have, excuse me, a new mission statement that I can't say from memory, and I forgot to bring it along. But the focus of the current board of the Rotary Club of Chambersburg Foundation is to focus on grants to families who are under-resourced in our community. That is going to be our primary focus, particularly families with children. So the foundation likes to support projects for youth, particularly disadvantaged youth. The way our foundation is set up, we can only fund organizations. We can't fund individuals. So if you know someone and the family needs a wheelchair or something like that, that's not something that we can do. But organizations apply, and we fund the organization for their special projects. The idea is that we fund just for special projects, not for something that's a recurring thing. You can't, organizations, we don't want them to apply for the same project 2 years in a row. Our foundation is funded through the pot, that we pass the pot, we do Happy Dollars, that comes to the foundation. The game also benefits the foundation. Chicken and Stuff, this year was the first year Chicken and Stuff benefited the foundation, and we received from the club as a gift $4,300, just about, for grants and awards. The other thing we do is scholarships. We have had 3 major contributions of $10,000 each for scholarships. And one was the, I want to say Jim Hyatt. I was going to say Bob, and I knew that was wrong. Jim Hyatt, the family gave a contribution in his memory. And then we have an anonymous donor who received a scholarship from the Rotary Club in the 1970s to go to school, and she became an educator. She's a retired educator now and wants to provide a similar opportunity for someone else. And so she has given us 3 gifts, Bonnie,
3.
of $10,000 each.
Wow.
And she's not a Rotarian, we need to get on that.
She's anonymous.
She's anonymous, so
She gave recurring ones.
so she has given multiple
For 3
gifts.
years in a row.
Yeah, I was there when she gave the
Yes,
first.
she gave 2
Wow.
more.
So the board has spent some time with sort of planning about how we want to award scholarships. In the past, we had given large awards for 4 years at a time. And over time, as funding to our foundation has decreased, we have decreased the awards. And so in the last number of years, we have been giving students $500 as a book scholarship, so that's money that goes directly to the student to buy books or materials. So if they go to a technical school, maybe they need some other materials than books, so we call it Books and Materials Scholarship. This year, because, I don't know, we were behind the curve getting it done. So this year, we funded, with the money from the educator, she wants her money to go to people pursuing a degree in education. We gave a second award to the students who had won last year. So that just made it easier on the process. We didn't get in on the district process of grant.
Well, it used to be that way, I mean, that's fine.
Yeah.
It used to be a four-year scholarship kind of situation, yeah.
One of the things that the club, or that the foundation board feels like is that keeping the money in the community. There's been discussion about giving kids money and then they go to college and they don't ever come back to Chambersburg. And maybe there would be ways that we could keep our money in the community. And so we are looking at scholarships for dual enrolled students, students who are in high school also enrolled in college, and they're getting college credit. And they can get a college class for, I think, around $800 locally, one of the 3 local colleges. And that is about a third of the price whenever they go to college, what they would be paying per credit or per class. So those students then, a lot of those are first generation college students. And the dual enrollment process allows them to get experience in college. They don't have a parent to help them with FAFSA and what to expect when you go to college and so on. And a lot of first generation college kids don't make it through their first year. And one of the biggest indicators of success for them is some previous college experience. So if they can be dual enrolled, go to campus, kind of see what it's like, and get to know make some connections and so on, that's beneficial. So that was probably more than Brad wanted me
No,
to do,
it's
but
all-
I
it's
wanted
great.
to,
No.
part of what I wanna do is say, we're doing good stuff, give us money.
So I love that, I love the dual enrollment thing, you know, having two kids that just have gone through, you know, college and all, both of those kids, did that and took advantage of it, and so much value in that.
Yeah.
And it is a bargain.
Yeah, it really
It's
is.
a real bargain.
I'm, we'll add a little historical perspective, being the
Yeah.
oldest one here kind of situation. There was a spreadsheet that was being compiled, and in the history of the Chambersburg Rotary Club Charitable Foundation, it has exceeded well over $250,000.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's not 10 or 15 grand a year. I mean, it's a boatload of money. Secondly, we used to have an endowment that started with a $50,000 gift, and it used to be like around $90,000. How much? What is it?
It's below $70,000 at this point. We had kept it at around $90,000 for many years, and 2 years ago, we needed to go into that endowment. The interest off of that, of course, we were reinvesting, but we had to go into that endowment to fund all of our obligations. And so this year, we gave fewer scholarships. It was less than $6,000, where it's typically around $15,000. Or grants, I mean, not scholarships, grants. And we weren't able to do as much of that because the giving to our local foundation has not been the way it was in the past.
Anyway, my final comment is that a handful, not many, but a handful of Rotarians have included our trust in their estate planning.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much we've gotten from that, but all I'm saying is that this is a real deal, and it's not a year-to-year fly-by-night situation. It really is well maintained. The vice president is always a member during his or her vice presidential year and that sort of thing. And the total board is like 6 people. What is
What do we
it?
got? It's, yes, 6,
Okay.
plus the vice president.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a real honor to be on that board if you're either interested and or appointed to it as well.
Yeah, first board I was on, when I became a Rotarian. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And I learned a lot about what Rotary did.
Yeah.
It's a great way to learn about what, I had no idea.
I didn't mean to interrupt your
No,
program.
no, it's all good, thank you. Yep. Just some goals, I jotted down last night. I was kind of putting this together. You know, certainly we need new members. We will not continue to be here if we don't bring new members on. You know, kind of community-minded, service-minded, motivated, dedicated.
No pressure.
No pressure, no pressure, Brandon.
No pressure, but you know, we all as Rotarians kind of know what we need to do as a Rotarian. It's not just a lunch meeting. When I work with people from Bartlett, young people getting into the business about networking and joining Rotary, and the first thing I tell them is like, look, this is not just a thing you join to come to lunch. You'll get nothing out of it other than a lunch. You have to get involved. So I think as we're interacting with people about Rotary, those are the people that want to come out and do stuff and be a part of a club. Current members, I think we got to encourage other Rotarians to attend meetings and service projects. And that could be like sending a text to someone that you haven't seen in a while, like, hey, why don't you come next week, or how you doing? We have to encourage our own members to get engaged. We see them out at the grocery store, wherever. Haven't seen you in a while, need you to come. We have to ask them. Everyone volunteer for at least one service project. I mean, that should be pretty darn easy. I mean, it should be more than that, but I think if you go through a Rotary year and you can't volunteer for some project, I don't know, maybe it's not a good fit. And then attend an evening or happy hour meeting. Somebody's like, what is that? Right? So we're gonna bring this back. We kind of took a break this summer, but we're gonna start back hopefully in September. It's the second Thursday of each month. Kind of falls in between our meetings. Okay. we may change the date, maybe Thursday, maybe Wednesday, I don't know. But right now, that's how we've been doing it. Open to locations and suggestions on that. We kind of wrapped up doing that at Liquid Art, Roy Pitts. Big giant room. Those that have never been to one of them, I mean, it's not a formal Rotary meeting. We have a beer too, and I think it had been just speakers from within the club talking about something they're interested in. Really low key, just kind of getting together. I want to get that rolling again. I think it'll be good, and because sometimes you can't make a meeting. It's boy, meeting every only twice a month. You can really get disconnected quickly from Rotary. So, who am I, right? So, I went to high school and grew up in Boyertown, Pennsylvania. So that's, southeast Philadelphia, Pottstown area. Went to Pennsylvania College of Technology and moved to Chambersburg in 1995 and have lived here ever since. So I spent more of my life here than I did where I grew up, which is okay by me. I don't get back there much. Don't really care. I don't get back there. Came here to work really for Bartlett and been with them 28 years. Julie's my wife, and
Also Rotarian.
it was at one time, yeah, when we had the kind of the satellite thing. Yep. And now she just kind of supports me and says, "Well, now what are you getting into again? What are you doing? What are you doing?" And 2 children, Olivia and Spencer, gonna be heading down to Tennessee tonight, as I mentioned, to hang out with my future son-in-law. Some of my interests, outdoors, spending time in our condo in Ocean City, traveling. We are very seldom home on weekends. We're very active. Kids are different parts of the world, and so we're kind of mobile, moving around quite a bit. And
Who was your sponsor, Brad?
Jack?
yeah. So yes, I guess I should have mentioned that in my moving to Chambersburg. Yeah. So when I moved to Chambersburg to work for Bartlett, Jack Good was the very first person I met, and he was like this. He's like this old guy, He's like, Jack. And I had no idea who he was, and here he was like this pillar in the community. Clint, Sue, some of you all know Jack, and it wasn't a question, especially when my job changed. He's like, well, first, even before my job changed, like, you need to go to a church. Flying Spring Church is a church. So that was right off the bat. And then when my position at Bartlett changed, he's like, you need to join Rotary. I mean, when he said you needed to, it's like you are joining. And Jill, our administrative assistant, put this on his calendar for this day. He's going to Rotary. And I mean, I was like 30, 31, 32, and back then we were meeting out at Lighthouse. Yeah, Lighthouse Restaurant. Yeah, I was this young guy.
That was probably when I was president.
You were, yeah. And went in there, and it was just all these older people and stuff, and sat in these big long rows. And I was the youngest. I was the youngest in the club, and it was super intimidating. I mean, first of all, because he was introducing me to all these all these pillars in the community, and
They were ultimately your clients, come on.
no, they were. It was all a good thing. It was all a good thing. But it helped me grow professionally, and also I made a lot of friends, and then like their kids I became friends with. And anyway, it is a good story to tell young people interested in joining a service organization like Rotary, for sure. Thanks for reminding me of that. And then these are some of the pictures I just kind of threw together. Some things with Rotary, some things not with Rotary, but being out in the community, doing things, getting outside your comfort zone a little bit, and some family things. But yeah, So that's me, and looking forward to getting help this year from everybody. Really, we're gonna put a calendar together as the board, get our events out there, and we want to have solid committees, because I'm just gonna be up here kind of saying this is what's going on. Because I'm not gonna try to lead all the events, can't do it, right, Stephanie?
It doesn't work.
Doesn't work, and so really hoping to work with everyone this year.
Another good year.
Yeah, so thank you. Right on time, and just a little, like that.
Yeah.
Meeting is
Made it
adjourned.
happen.